The governor and the vice president both responding to an exclusive Politico story. It details messages between several members of state young Republican groups, including New York State young Republicans, that are racist and anti-Semitic in nature. And among those allegedly involved is Bobby Walker, who we're told is a Schenectady County resident. Nearly 3,000 pages of chats between January and mid-August reveal what Politico calls a culture where racist, anti-Semitic, and violent rhetoric circulate freely. Those involved joked about gas chambers, slavery, and rape. Multiple people in the chat are connected to New York Republicans. Pictured here in social media posts from the New York State Young Republicans, Bobby Walker. He previously worked for the state Senate Minority Leader Rob Ortt and was also slated to be the campaign manager for State Senator Peter Oberacher's congressional campaign. Politico says Walker called rape, quote, epic in the chat. A spokesperson for Senator Oberacher telling Politico that Walker is no longer being brought on the campaign in light of the recent comments. And in the aftermath of the story, multiple state leaders as well as Republican figures have condemned the messages. Schenectady County Republican Chairwoman Liz Joy specifically mentioning Bobby Walker and his residency in Schenectady County. She said, quote, his statements in the published chat were indefensible and do not in any way represent the values or standards that I demand from the members of our committee. I want to be crystal clear. Anyone who degrades or bullies others in a similar way to Mr. Walker will find themselves off our committee and out of any leadership position. We have a zero tolerance policy for that behavior. Governor Hochul was asked about the reporting from Politico, and here's a portion of her reaction.
That everybody from the president on down should condemn them. And there's got to be consequences. Kick them out of the party. Take away their official roles. Stop using them as campaign advisors. There needs to be consequences.
Vice President J.D. Vance rebutting, saying a years-old text exchange that's recently resurfaced between Virginia Democratic Attorney General candidate Jay Jones and a Virginia delegate are, quote, far worse than anything said in a college group chat. The chats outlined by Politico were not in a college group chat, though. At least one person involved also works in the Trump administration.
Isn't it a coincidence that on the left, they've been killing people and fantasizing about watching somebody die or shooting somebody in the head. And then all of a sudden, a 7-year, I guess, observation or something. And now they come up and say, oh, look at these Republicans making racist comments and everything like that. I find it strange, just strange. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel. All right, let's get to it. So, I don't know. You guys tell me, like, I guess this young Republicans scandal is now all over the news, okay? Like 1,000 of leaked Telegram messages from young Republican leaders revealed racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, and misogynistic content. Now, I want you to hear that. Racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, and misogynistic content. All of this, including praises for Hitler, jokes about rape, and references to gas chambers. Okay, I don't know. The Young Republican National Federation condemned the messages and called for immediate resignations. So I'm troubled. I'm troubled with this because it seemed like every time the left is caught in something like this, Jay Jones and his fantasizing about killing one of his fellow congressmen and his kids. Okay, you had the Charlie Kirk shooting. I mean, the president almost getting assassinated. I mean, what else? You had the Democrats in their debates just failing miserably and refused to condemn Jay Jones for his really sickening comments. But then all of a sudden, here come Republicans and this Hitler jokes and all this other stuff. And I find it ironic that it will come out at a time when the left was looking really bad. And there's only one reason why I feel they're doing this. It's because they want to get, these so-called white liberals and blacks to be emotionally outraged, to saying, you know what, I'd rather stay with the Democrats than to deal with this. And me personally, it's no sweat off of my back, because if that's the case, that's them. Okay? It's still not going to change my values, my beliefs. So when they throw this out and then all of a sudden the media's on it, when Jay Jones and others, you barely hear them talk about it. You barely hear them talk about it. President Trump just came up with a peace agreement between Hamas and Israel. And the left-wing media, probably spent maybe 2 minutes on it. That's it. And it's all on, I hate Trump, all the time. Okay? It's terrible. So while Republicans are facing this, while these young Republicans are facing backlash, the left still refuse to condemn Jay Jones or to say that he should drop out of the race, And it's funny. Every time something happens, the media seems to shift, the spotlight seems to shift depending on which side is under pressure. It's really sad, this selective outrage, and changing the narrative. I'm just really disturbed by it. And I'm wondering if others feel the same way, because like I said, all of a sudden, when Trump was running 2016, he started to pick up momentum. And then all of a sudden here comes the bus where he's talking about grab him by the you-know-what. It's so funny that they do this all the time. And this is why I'm just so sick of people.
The Trump administration is planning to rehaul the U.S. refugee system to favor white people. Yes, you heard that right. The news comes one day after young Republican leaders were caught sending racist messages on a group chat. Yet some Republicans are pretending like they have no idea where the racism is coming from. The call is coming from inside the House. In January, Trump repealed a 1965 civil rights order that banned racial discrimination in the federal government, and he blamed DEI for a plane crash in Washington, D.C. In February, Trump banned Black History Month events at several federal agencies and fired General C.Q. Brown, the black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In March, the Trump administration rehired a 25-year-old official who had been fired after he bragged about being a racist. In April, Trump removed references to Harriet Tubman from the National Park Service website. In May, Trump welcomed only white South Africans to move to the United States while punishing the country's black majority government. In June, Trump announced that U.S. military bases will be renamed after racist Confederate generals who supported slavery. In July, the State Department hired a staff member who said that competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work. In August, Trump announced he would put up a Confederate statue in Washington, D.C. In September, Trump removed a photo of slavery from a national park exhibit. And in October, on the same day when the racist text messages were published, Trump gave a Presidential Medal of Freedom to the late Charlie Kirk, a white conservative who claimed that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake and Dr. King was an awful person. And just today, the Trump administration is at the Supreme Court asking the justices to eliminate a black congressional district in Louisiana and weaken a key provision of the Voting Rights Act. This is just a partial list from 2025. So yes, the racist group chat is not surprising. And it's sad but not surprising that Vice President J.D. Vance refused to condemn it. But as Frederick Douglass warned centuries ago, the white man's happiness cannot be purchased by the black man's misery. Douglass, a proud black Republican of the 19th century, would be ashamed of what the grand old party has become in the 21st century under Donald Trump.
that really get on my on my nerves. Okay. So Martin Luther King was a womanizer. I'm hearing other stuff too, a drunk or whatever. I don't know how true that is, but he set black people up because he's a Marxist, and he set black people up when the Civil Rights Act was passed. Now, it was for a good cause, but now it's being used for so many other stuff, and it's insane. Okay, Charlie Kirk never said the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. The lion, he said it was for a good cause, but he's saying how people are taking advantage, not blacks or anything, but politicians taking advantage of the Civil Rights Act and flipping it so that it can be used or like to their advantage over like for instance to say that that a transgender woman can go into a women's bathroom, like, that's as if that's a violation of one's civil rights. And we're talking about a biological man, okay? I have no problem with transgender. I have friends, whatever. I just think that if you're a biological man, you should not be in the women's bathroom. That's simple. Okay, but nevertheless, this man is making all these claims that and don't know what he's talking about. And then he want to go and say, well, Trump's doing all this and he only want white South Africans coming to America. And I haven't heard anything, and the media really didn't say nothing. It's this fool. He's always yapping his mouth. Really get on my nerves. I'm telling you. And then he tries to degrade others. Like if I'm supposed to say yes, the racism is real. It's people like them, these race hustlers, that's helping to keep black people at the bottom, failing in every metric.
Vice President J.D. Vance dismissed backlash surrounding a concerning group chat with young Republicans where members made threatening statements toward lawmakers. Vance says the chat was less serious than Virginia Attorney General candidate Jay Jones' call for violence against a GOP lawmaker and his family. In leaked Telegram messages, first reported by Politico, young Republican leaders in New York State privately made anti-Semitic and racist remarks about their political opponents. One member said they loved Hitler and talked about putting political enemies in gas chambers. Others labeled black people monkeys and called for rape against their political opponents. Vance says Jones's leaked text saying former Speaker Dan Gilbert should be shot were worse. He says he won't participate in, quote, pearl clutching. New York Governor Kathy Hochul denounced the messages and suggested Republicans were condoning the behavior. She sent shots at Elise Stefanik for her past endorsement of the Young Republicans. Hochul called for Stefanik to return her Congresswoman of the Year award from the Young Republicans after the group chat leaked.
So you see, selective outrage. When they're up against the ropes, all of a sudden something comes out and this outrage, all of a sudden, oh my God, the world is going to end. Look at these kids talking about Nazis and racism. I mean, the left do it all the time, calling everybody Nazis and so forth. It's anything to make sure that black people vote for them. Okay. I don't know what it is, but we as black people, we just continue just getting played. Let me explain something to you. Okay. I don't care what a person say. If I have a person call me the N-word or just calling me out of my name, good for them. I don't care. But they don't pay my bills and they can't stop me from progressing and growing. Okay? So I get amazed when I see people get emotional, act irrational when they hear certain things and then they start going back into slavery, which they have their whole history wrong. And it seems like nobody wants to correct others on their history as if we were taken from Africa when actually we were traded, we were given away. Okay. So So we need to get that straight. And always learn too. It wasn't, they all say, this and that, that they were such mean slave owners when you had black slave owners, Native Americans were slave owners, the Arabs were slave owners, but they were more cruel. They were the cruelest of them all. Brutal. Okay, so do some research. I'm not condoning slavery or what happened in America. I'm just saying that you have to do your history so you can get all the facts straight and stop thinking that like slavery only happened to blacks here in America and that was it. Okay. But I digress. It is becoming like anytime the left is being challenged, when the left is being challenged, they come up with something new. And to me, this is getting old. It's really sad because there's still people out there acting ridiculous as if, and right back to white supremacy and the white this and white that. And that's really sad. And I don't know what to say, but I really hope that we soon wake up and realize that, Democrats never had our back. Never had our backs from God knows when. We have been getting played by them over and over. And it's time to end. Well, I'm glad I was able to put this video together. Please like, subscribe, and share this channel. I'm going to soon begin a membership program where people can join, and I can have exclusives for members only, where we can chat live, or maybe I do a special episode just for members. This would be a great way for me to grow my membership and give those members, something more than others, or I try to do my best to give them more than others. But I will be doing live chats and basically speaking to others, and especially talking about black decline and just other things, politics, social. I'm really excited about this, and I hope that you can join me. All right, guys, y'all have a great evening, and I'll talk to you real soon. Peace.